One of the things we realized is that Viva Engage can be used to help address information overload because you can use it as really as effective as a comms channeling, maybe reduce the number of email-based newsletters that goes out. But if you sort of use it too much, then there's also a risk that people will see that as noisy. So we thought, well, so there's obviously something in here about like how much is actually being published because that can contribute to information overload. So here's the real simple principle of what we wanted to do with the information overload calculator. We just want to find out how much content news are we producing, and number two, how much time does it take to read for the recipient? It's that simple. So I'm going to show you this really quick, what it looks like, and you can play around with this. We're going to put some links in the chat for you to have a play with. But I'll show you how simple this is, and hopefully how impactful you'll agree that hopefully it'll be for you. So you go into the information overload calculator. There'll be links. You sign up with a little log on button, but we don't store any of the data. It's really only to find out if anyone is actually logging in. So anything you type in here is anonymous. We don't know who you are. But if you name, like if you put in the name of a newsletter and it says your company, well, then, maybe not be specific in that specific and when you outline what your news channels are called. But so we start here, 3 simple steps: company profile. I'm just going to click on load some sample data, but you'll get a sense of it. You put in how many employees you have, and then because managers are often used for cascades, you put in how many managers you have, and then you put in what are the core comms channels that you're using. You can remove some or you can add some more if you like. That takes you about 10 seconds, hopefully. Then you get to the content types, and I'm just going to click on load sample data so you can get some examples, and you modify this to suit your organization. So put in internal news stories. I got department updates from leadership, and so forth. You know the drill. You're experts in this. Then put in how many employees is intended to be reached, how often they go out, the frequency, what channel you're using, who's responsible, and then how long time it takes to read it. And I was actually talking to a company the other day. So they were putting out 10 news items on the intranet a week. So I'm just going to change this to 10 and make sure I've got intranet sorted here. And then the last bit, that's the simple bit as well. Well, actually, this might be hard for you. How much time do we think people have to read all the things that we're publishing? I'm going to click on that load sample data here. And this example is 15 minutes per week. We had someone in the workshop saying 0, which I don't think is entirely true, but who knows? And then other people saying, oh, it's half an hour a week. So you use your best guesstimate here at how much time you think you got. And then after that, you click on calculate my information overload index. And voila, up comes the results. In this case, because we increased it from 3 to 10 news items per week, actually the employees are overloaded, meaning we are sending out more than they have time to read, right? So this should start some conversations about, are we actually putting out too many things? But not only are we telling you whether or not people are at risk of being overloaded, we're helping you put a dollar value on this, because all those time it takes for people to read the things we're sending out, we can convert that into a dollar value by applying an average cost per hour and how many hours you work per week. And in this case, it's $61 million. And now if you're in internal comms, all I'm saying is that you have a really important role to play in all this, right? Because internal comms are the ones that are coordinating the flow of information. You are vetting quality. You are scheduling messages so they don't collide. And you track messages whether they land or not. And if you don't do that really well, in this case, it's $61 million that are at risk. So I think you have a really important role to play. And you can think of Swoop just as the, I guess, as a kind of like a radar that gives internal comms visibility of all these things that are flying around, all the messages that are flying around. That's the role that we play. And then hopefully you'll find this useful, and that'll help you improve comms in your organization.